that's why Pegasi are the master race. Oh, hey guys, I decided to leave Ponyville. There's no reason for me to stay cooped up in my house, and exploring Equestria is a good way to spend this break the show is on.
The train to Canterlot is about to leave. All aboard is coming aboard.
But you know, these hiatuses have been really frequent lately, and it seems to be negatively impacting the fandom. Is the Brony community dying out? Believe it or not, I like the breaks between the show. It's a glorious time when the fandom comes out and creates beautiful artwork, songs, and animations. However, it seems that with each hiatus brings with it its own problems and division amongst the fans. See Masked Princess Twilight Freakout for more information. So, what's the drama coming into this off-season? The fandom, of course, as it seems that everyone is worried that this community we once loved is fading away. And oh my goodness, this means Hasbro will cancel the show and the end is near. Okay, so that's pretty much the overreaction, but could they be right? Is it possible that the Brony fanbase is dying? Well, in order to make an accurate hypothesis, we must first be able to understand why this is a common belief in the first place. And because I clearly don't have enough animation in this analysis so far, we'll be using this chart to aid your visuals. Now, the theory that the fandom is dying is primarily based on three reasons: the number of viewers watching the show itself, the hits to the analysis community, and probably the weakest argument of the three, the fact that the show is now playing on Discovery Family and not the Hub. So let's dissect these one at a time, starting with, this one. As many of you already know, these two analysts have recently left the fandom, but for now we're only going to be talking about this guy. What makes him so special? Well, this guy and this guy were the first and most successful analysts of Friendship is Magic. Roughly 1 year ago, however, this guy left, and now that they're both gone, the fandom has no connections to its former self via Pony Analysis. And because this is the internet, obviously reviewers of the show leaving means the fandom is falling apart. Joking aside, there were fans who really only watched the show because of these analysts, so I do suppose the fandom did take some sort of hit because of them. However, that doesn't explain the view count of the episodes dramatically decreasing between seasons. And I do mean dramatically. Both Princess Spike and Amending Fences have reached record lows for the view count in the entire series, so naturally people start to blame the network providing the show, as it has had view-crippling breaks between episodes and doesn't advertise the show in the way the Hub used to. And seeing how this is Discovery Family's first season running Friendship is Magic, the odds of not falling under fire of the fanbase's criticism is little to none. Taking a look at these facts, it can be easy to see how this is spelling out the end of the community. However, I believe something entirely different is taking place. So, to all of you who are worried about MLP's future, sit back, have a Coke, and let me calm your nerves. To start off, yes, it is true that the fanbase has no original reviewers anymore. But is that such a bad thing? Just because a couple of people who were the first to dwell on the deeper subjects of MLP no longer think it's worth watching doesn't actually mean it's not worth watching. And not hating on Digibro or Tommy, but now we have reviewers like Silverquill, Josh Scorcher, and I Love Kimpossible a lot, an arguable upgrade to the before mentioned critics. And with them brings in a whole new audience of artists, musicians, and even analysts to the show of MLP. But if that's the case, then why is the show failing to bring in viewers? To put it simply, this season was handled abysmally. After coming off the highest point in the show's history, the next season was delayed nearly an entire year, finally premiering in April and running halfway through the summer, even though most TV shows premiere their season during the last quarter of the year. Factor in that the show wasn't advertised nearly as much as it should have been, and all the momentum-killing breaks between episodes, and it's the perfect combination for nothing short of a disaster. Now, before you guys grab your pitchforks and call for Discovery Family's head, keep in mind that most of these problems are not their fault. If you look at the leaked Season 5 episode list, the second set of episodes are written to coincide with the end of the year's holidays, meaning that this was a marketing move Hasbro planned long in advance, and not short-sightedness on the channel's part as an act of desperation. And it's actually a good move if handled correctly. During the break, Hasbro has the chance to help remind people that My Little Pony is still a thing, and that the 5th season is currently going on. Plus, it will fall back into a rhythm of playing new episodes in the time of year people are actually looking for them. And not to mention that pushing it towards Christmas will definitely help toy sales, which means more money for Hasbro and more show for us. Alright, so the show is safe until at least 2017. But still, what about the fandom? This is where things become perplexing, and will either be good or bad depending on how you decide to look at it. While there are many reasons I can give to say that the fans aren't watching because they forgot that the season started or don't realize it's currently going on, there's a simple fact that many people are overlooking or simply refusing to admit. So I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Yes, the fandom is downsizing. Falling apart, no, but definitely decreasing in numbers. However, this is nothing surprising. To understand what I mean, let's take a look at why the community got so big in the first place. Because it was hot and something different. While I don't believe all bronies fall into this category, in fact, most of us joined the fan base for the show and the community, there were a lot of people who simply watched the show and identified as a brony because it was popular at the time, something very common in the modern entertainment industry. And because it went against the mainstream of society, many people liked to join simply because it made them different and unique. However, as Pony started to become more appreciated and widely accepted show, the simple thrill of, ooh, look, we're watching My Little Pony, a show for little girls, started to wear off. And so did a lot of the fan base. Like I said, this can either be seen as good or bad. Sure, the show is no longer in the brief spotlight of booming popularity, and many of the fans who were in it because it was hot at the time left to go watch Game of Thrones or something. However, taking away the fact that My Little Pony is no longer the in thing means that the only people who are left are the fans that actually like the show because it's a good show. We fell in love with it because the writing is great, the humor is funny, the characters lovable, and so much more, not just because it was popular at the time. And what is left is the backbone that held this fandom together in the first place. Sure, we may be a smaller community than what we once were, but definitely a tighter knit one than ever before, especially now that we have a lot more fans who are really passionate about what they watch and appreciate the show for all of its goods and bads. So, to all of you bronies out there, whether you just joined the fandom or have been around since the first season, I'd like to thank you for sticking along with the ride, because so far, it's been a fun one. Yeah, the show's honeymoon phase has long since passed, but honestly, I'm looking forward to all the episodes that we have yet to see from this great TV show, My Little Pony. Until next time, this is Central, and why are we slowing down?
All trains had to stop. Sheep decided to sit on the track.
Wow, I didn't know that actually happens. Alright, what do you guys think the state of the fandom is in? Do you like the current changes that are happening to the community? Let me know in the comments. This is Central, and I gotta go find a hotel. Oh, but before I fade to black, just a quick announcement. Due to the fact that there are no more episodes, I will obviously not be doing any late night discussions, so I will probably be adding a new segment to temporarily take its place. I don't know what it'll be yet, but I'll keep you posted. Also, because of the break, I won't have any new material for Let's Talk Pony series, meaning that they'll be about any subject covering the show that I find interesting. And if you have any ideas for something interesting to talk about, let me know. Could end up in the next episode. That is all.